In today's political climate, it could cost you more than just a public shaming to express empathy for the wrong side. That is especially true, unfortunately, with the Israel-Palestine conflict. I'm not here to offer a full and comprehensive history in the conflict, nor am I interested to. It has been a divisive, a complicated, and traumatic history, and I am not a historian, a scholar, or a political analyst. But what I do know is that this issue has only become more polarized since the events of October 7th, 2023. There are two simple facts that I would like to state that are non-negotiable and unrefutable. Number one is that the terrorist attack on October 7th was wholly unjustified, tragic, and horrific. Number two is that Israel's response to that attack has been wildly out of proportion. I've been afraid to say either or both of these facts simply because I know that there's going to be backlash for saying that both of those things are true. It feels almost shameful to hold empathy for both sides. Often, myself and people like me feel like they are caught in the middle. They are fleeing from tragedy and then frozen in empathy looking back at what is happening. It reminds me of a biblical character that you might know as well. In the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, God instructs Lot and his family to flee the doomed cities before he destroys them, but to not look back. We know the story from there. Lot's wife looks back and God punishes her by turning her into a pillar of salt. But what if she wasn't punished for looking back on wickedness or for her disobedience, but instead for her empathy? Jewish tradition is filled with examples of people arguing and wrestling with God, laughing in his face, and demanding better treatment. So why then, in stories like Sodom and Gomorrah, or even current examples like Israel and Palestine, does it feel like people are being punished for holding empathy for both sides? If I say that I have empathy for the life lost on October 7th and want the hostages freed, I'm labeled as an Israeli sympathizer. If I look at and call out the plight of the Palestinian people as being unequal and unjustified, then I'm seen as a traitor. But let's be clear, even though I do hold space for sympathy for both sides, there is an unbalanced and unjustified suffering happening to the Palestinian people. And the consequences for expressing a stance like that are far worse. As of recording this, thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters have lost their jobs, have been kicked out of school, even threatened with deportation for expressing their views and their wish that the suffering of the Palestinian people stop. The fact that expressing grief or solidarity with a suffering people can become life-ruining should scare all of us. Having compassion should not be a crime. It's a deeply held Jewish and human value. Maybe the story of Lot's wife is not about disobedience or wickedness or failure. Instead, maybe it's about being caught and frozen in grief and sympathy for other people. It's time for us to reclaim that and to open ourselves to feeling compassion for other people, even when we don't agree with them, even when it's risky, even when we're afraid of what the cost is. My full reflection on this topic is called The Cost of Caring, Lot's Wife and the Politics of Empathy. I hope you read it. It's live now on Substack, and I'll see you next time on What the Fuck Torah.